So today we are going to discuss about statins and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So we are primarily going to discuss the role of statins in primary prevention of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So we'll discuss depending upon the age group. Say if there is a patient of 0 to 19 years. So in an age group of 0 to 19 years, if there is familial hypercholesterolemia, so in familial hypercholesterolemia, the LDL cholesterol is usually above 190 milligram per deciliter. In heterozygous form, it is 190 to 400 milligram per deciliter. In homozygous form, it is ranging from 400 to more than 1000 milligram per deciliter. Apart from that, the patient can have tendon xanthomas and premature coronary heart disease. So in an age group of 0 to 19 years with familial hypercholesterolemia, you need to treat it with statin therapy. Usually, you require high intensity statins. Now, in an age group of 20 to 39 years. So, in 20 to 39 years, if the LDL cholesterol is more than equal to 160 milligram per deciliter, plus there is a history of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. If there is a family history of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, then you need to treat it with statins. Premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease means in men less than 55 years of age and in women less than 65 years of age, if there is a family history of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, you need to treat it with statins. And if the LDL cholesterol is more than equal to 190 milligram per deciliter, then definitely you need to treat it with high intensity statins. If I talk about the intensity of statins, so usually the high intensity statins include atorvastatin 40 to 80 mg and rosuvastatin 20 to 40 mg. And when I talk about the moderate intensity statins, then atorvastatins is 10-20 mg and rosuvastatin is 5-10 mg. 5 to 10 mg. So, in an age group of 20 to 39 years, if there is a family history of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease plus LDL cholesterol is between 160 to 190, then you have to treat it with statins. And in case if it is more than 190, then no matter if there is a family history or not, you have to treat it with high intensity statins. Same goes for age group of 40 to 75 years. For 40 to 75 years also, if the LDL cholesterol is more than 190 milligram per deciliter, again you need to treat it with high intensity statins. And in an age group of 40 to 75 years, if a patient is diabetic, if a patient is a known case of type 2 diabetes mellitus, you have to treat it with moderate intensity statins. And if risk enhancers are present, if there are multiple atherosclerotic cardiovascular risk factors, then you can increase it to high intensity statins. Now we'll talk about the group of people of 40 to 75 years who are not diabetic, whose LDL is not more than 190 but it is in the range of 70 to 190. LDL cholesterol is more than equal to 70 but less than 190 milligram per cent. Then what has to be done? In this group, you have to calculate the 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk estimate. Now this 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk estimate, it calculates the 10-year risk of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease based on a number of parameters, which are basically traditional risk factors. It includes age, sex, race, systolic blood pressure, use of BP lowering medications, diabetes, total cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and smoking status. So total 9 parameters, they are used to calculate the 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular risk. So if it is less than 5%, which is called as low risk, then you have to do nothing but lifestyle changes. Then you have to advise lifestyle changes. It is called as low risk. If it is 5 to 7.5%, 5 to less than 7.5%, which is called as borderline risk. Then in this age group, what you have to do, you have to look for the risk enhancers. If risk enhancers are present, then you have to advise moderate intensity statins. If risk enhancers are present, then you have to advise moderate intensity statins. Now, what are these risk enhancers that I will discuss? Now, if this risk is 7.5 to 20%, which is called as intermediate risk. So in this intermediate risk category, again, you have to advise moderate intensity statins and increase it to high intensity if risk enhancers are present. If risk enhancers are present, so increase it to high intensity. And if the 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular risk is more than 20%, which is called as high risk, so you have to advise the statins, that too high intensity statins. I hope everything is clear by now, that in an age group of 40 to 75 years, if patient is diabetic, you have to advise statins. If patient is having LDL cholesterol of more than 190, you have to advise statins. But in a group who is not diabetic but LDL cholesterol falls in the range of 70 to 190 milligram, then you have to calculate the 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk. If it is less than 5%, only lifestyle changes. 5 to 7.5%, then if risk enhancers are present, that we'll discuss, then you have to start with moderate intensity statins. And in 7.5 to 20%, give away moderate intensity statins, and if risk enhancers are present, then increase it to high intensity statins. And in more than 20%, you have to advise high intensity statins. High intensity statins, the aim is to decrease LDL cholesterol more than 50%. And moderate intensity, the aim is to decrease LDL cholesterol by 30 to 49%. Now we'll talk about the risk enhancers. So we were discussing about the risk enhancers. So what are the risk enhancers? If there is a family history of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, that means in men, if it is less than 55 years, and in females, in women, if it is less than 65 years. Apart from that, if there is persistently elevated LDL cholesterol more than equal to 160 milligram per deciliter, or non-HDL cholesterol more than equal to 190 milligram person. This is another risk enhancer. If there is CKD, that means eGFR, estimated GFR less than 60 ml per minute, if there is metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome, again, it is defined by NTEP ATP3 as it is a complex of hypertriglyceridemia, decreased HDL cholesterol, increased BP, increased fasting blood glucose, and increased waist circumference. So metabolic syndrome, it includes central obesity, hypertension, fasting hyperglycemia, and dyslipidemia. And apart from metabolic syndrome, if there is chronic inflammatory conditions, chronic inflammatory conditions include SLE, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, and HIV. And if there is a history of preeclampsia in women or premature menopause, that means less than 40 years of age. If menopause is attained at less than 40 years of age, that is premature menopause. Also, if there is South Asian ancestry, apart from this risk enhancer, there are some biomarkers also, like fasting triglycerides more than equal to 175 milligram person, HSCRP, if it is estimated, HSCRP more than 2 milligram per liter, lipoprotein A more than or equal to 50 milligram per deciliter, apolipoprotein B more than 130 milligram per deciliter, and apart from HSCRP, lipoprotein E, apolipoprotein B, if we calculate the ankle brachial index, if the ankle brachial index is less than 0.9, so each of them is included in the risk enhancer. So like I have told you, in a patient who is having borderline risk, 5 to less than 7.5% of a 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular risk, then if these risk enhancers are present, initiate moderate intensity statins. And in a patient of intermediate risk, 7.5 to 20%, so you have to initiate with the moderate intensity but switch over to high intensity statin if these risk enhancers are present. Still, if there is an uncertainty, about the risk, particularly in low risk women, particularly in two groups, low risk women, that means less than 7.5%, low to borderline risk women, or in young adults of less than 45 years, particularly if risk enhancers are present. So in this group, what you have to do, you can further stratify the risk upward or downward with the help of coronary artery calcium score. It is a CT derived score. It is used to document subclinical coronary atherosclerosis. Coronary artery calcium score. If it is, say it is 0, then avoid statins. Unless there is a strong suspicion like patient is smoker or diabetic or his family history of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, unless these things are present, you can avoid statins in this group. If it is 1 to 99, coronary artery calcium score is 1 to 99, then initiate moderate intensity statins if the age group is more than or equal to 55 years. And if it is more than 100, if this coronary artery calcium score is more than 100 or more than or equal to 75th percentile for age, sex and race, then you have to start with high intensity statins. I hope everything is clear. So, as I have told you, in 0 to 19 years of age, if familial hypercholesterolemia is present, you have to start with statin therapy. In 20 to 39 years of age, if LDL cholesterol is more than 190, you have to start. But if it is between 160 to 190 and if there is a family history present of premature atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, start statins. And in an age group of 40 to 75 years, if diabetes is present, you have to start statins. If LDL cholesterol is more than 190, you have to start statins. And if the patient is not diabetic but LDL cholesterol is between 70 to 190, calculate 10-year atherosclerotic cardiovascular risk. If it is 5 to 20%, then depending upon the presence of risk enhancers, you can start with statin therapy. Still, if there is a doubt, there is uncertainty about the risk, like patient doesn't want to start the therapy or patient wants to be very sure about the risk, then you can document the subclinical carotid this coronary atherosclerosis with this CT-derived coronary artery calcium score, and depending upon this, you can further stratify the risk. And in more than 20%, without doubt, you have to start with the statin therapy. This is all about the role of statin in primary prevention. Now we'll talk a word about the other risk factors of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So first of all, we'll talk about, apart from this lipids, if I talk about the nutrition. So particularly, what should be your diet? It should be rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains, lean vegetable or animal protein, preferably fish. So ideally, this should be a diet of patient of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. And what should be avoided? You should avoid processed meat or red meat. You should avoid sweetened beverages. Apart from that, you should avoid refined carbohydrates, refined grains. Okay, sodium restriction should be done. Okay, apart from that, you should avoid high carbohydrate diet as well as low carbohydrate diet. That means the carbohydrate should be average in your diet. So you should avoid processed meat, sweetened beverages, refined carbohydrates, sodium, trans fat, saturated fat. These should be avoided in your diet. Now if I talk about the obesity, because obesity is again a risk factor, obesity or overweight, that means the BMI is, overweight is BMI is 25 to 29.9, and if it is more than or equal to 30 kg per meter square, then it is called as obesity. So in such patients, what should they do? They should decrease their low calorie diet should be given. They should decrease their calorie by 500, or they should consume 800 to 1500 kilocalories per day. The intended weight loss is more than or equal to 5% of initial weight. This is about the obesity. If I talk about the hypertension, so the target blood pressure in a patient of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease or who is at high risk is less than equal to 130 by 80 millimeter of mercury. If I talk about the diabetes, HbA1c more than 6.5%, it should be treated. The first choice would be metformin, as I have discussed also in previous lecture. The first choice would be metformin. And a patient of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease or who is at high risk, the second choice would be preferably either SGLT2 inhibitor or GLP-1 agonist, because they have a established benefit in this group. Now if I talk about the physical exercise, so the adults, they should engage in at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes per week of vigorous intensity exercise. Exercise should be aerobic or resistance exercise. Like you can ask the patient to engage in brisk walking for 30 minutes a day and 5 days a week. If I talk about the aspirin, what is the role of aspirin in this age group? In this particular group, who is at high risk of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease or who are having established, particularly for primary prevention, what is the role of this aspirin? So low dose aspirin, that means 75 to 160 mg aspirin. Low dose aspirin, it can be given in patient of 40 to 70 years who are having high atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk and who are not having increased risk of bleeding. If these three things are fulfilled, then only you should advise aspirin for primary prevention. Any patient who is more than 70 years of age, aspirin should not be given. Or any patient who is at increased bleeding risk, irrespective of the age, should not be given aspirin. So it should be particularly given for primary prevention in age group of 40 to 70 years who are at high atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease and who are not at increased risk of bleeding. Similarly, when I talk about the statins, so I have discussed the age group from 20 to 75 years. What about more than 75 years? So in more than 75 years, you have to do the clinical assessment and risk discussion, because there is increased risk of bleeding in that age group, and there is there are associated comorbidities. So clinical assessment and risk discussion, that will only determine that whether that statins are indicated or not. So this is all about the atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you very much.